Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And the title of this stream is important because, yes, it is my birthday. So I'm going to be, well, technically it was my birthday yesterday, but that's besides the point. I'm going to be streaming today, and hopefully I'll have this character design finished, and I'll also be working more on my animation, or at the very least doing some cleanup so that I can get ready for compositing, which is going to be quite nice, quite fun. So I can't just go into shading for this character design. I am going to need to add some toning. It's hard to describe, but essentially, when you have dark skinned characters, their color is not solid and consistent. We have certain areas around our body where our skin may be reddish or more orangish in some places, or it may be lighter and darker in certain places. So, this toning that I'm doing is just to add some greater dimension, volume, and quality to Nancy's skin. So, because Nancy is, I'm not going to say he's straight up Creole, but he does have some Creole heritage, I am going to have to add some more, I want to say orange to him. But this will be like a darker orange. Because my intention is to actually use a burn filter. Ooh, and I do want to actually have a like a special guide video or like a special character design video where I go over designing characters with darker skin. Just because, and like Genshin Impact does this quite often. When they make and design characters, like they give dark skinned characters ashy colors. Like black people are not ashy. I mean, that's like an inside joke we have about like, oh, you ashy or oh, you need to put on some lotion. But all in all, black people are really not that ashy because we moisturize. So our skin is actually more saturated than you would think. But you see, people aren't black, so they don't know. I'm being very light because I don't want to overpower his already natural skin color, which is this darker brown. And usually, when it does come to dark skinned characters, the lighter areas of our skin is, in fact, where the. I would say that for most black people, the areas of our skin that are lighter by comparison are usually areas that are thinner. So you'll see like a lot of our lighter colors around our lips as well as in our cheeks. And then like at the tops of our ears, that's why I am focused on these areas. And because I'm using a pressure sensitive brush, I do have to be a bit careful with the pressure I use. Which is also why the lighter colors are more so on the center of the legs. Like you'll see me concentrate this lighter orange on the center of the leg, as well as at the back of the neck. He's lighter on his cheeks and on his nose. But this is true for like a lot of black characters. A lot of black characters are lighter where their skin is thinnest at. And like this isn't just a black person thing, but you'll see with like a lot of not even like black Asians or people of mixed heritage who are like Indian or Asian or even Latino, but people who do have higher concentrations of melanin, like Latinos and like certain groups of Asians and Indians, they do in fact have areas and spots in their bodies where they are lighter or darker. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, look, I'm just gonna be straight up. Like, I like myself some chocolate. Okay, I'm a man. I know I'm an artist, but I'm a man too. Okay, I like myself some chocolate. Like, give me some chocolate. That's all I can say. So this is gonna be a color dodge, and then I'm going to alter the opacity. Mm, I actually did like the lighter color filter, so I do want to experiment with that real quick. Yeah, I would say the dodge had the better effect that I desired than the lighter color. I believe it was the color dodge. Very faint. That's important. Very faint of a color. Mm, think I may want to lower it to about. Let's see what 30 looks like. 30 is actually pretty good. And like it's very subtle. You almost can't even tell it. But like there are certain areas and times where you can see it, like definitely in this forehead right here, as well as you see it faintly in the nose, and you definitely see it in the cheek and neck, which is what I was going for. Again, you see that sort of lighter color in the ear right here. I tried to transfer it over to these ears. You see his lighter color in his neck and his cheeks and his forehead, Again, with these cheeks, it's very subtle in the forehead, but you can still notice it. His hands are lighter. Where his thighs are, you can see it. Again, you can see it a little bit in his hand, very subtle in the hands, but it's definitely more in the face. I do, in fact, want to take my brush, and for this one, I do want to sort of just color this a bit more because I did use an opacity brush. And I do like this. Like, I like the way I did this. Now, I was thinking for the cane, I could probably do like a gradient for the cane. Just because it is sort of clashing with his legs right here. So I can eye drop the inside of his coat right here, and what I'll do is I'll go back to the cane. Now, for the actual animation, I will eventually have to decide on just one color. But at least for now, I can just sort of go with this initial plan I had. Yep, that's a lot better. Now to work on the shading. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a group layer. Oh, hello. Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And I'm just working on a character design. I finished the coloring last stream, so now I'm just working on shading. I will say that like the big, how do I put it? Like the big theme for this character, like aside from the whole Creole illusionist sort of street performer angle I was going for him, like another big factor was that I just want to see more young black characters. Like I'm being completely honest. Like you have freaking Shotas and Lollies, but like you don't have a young black male character. At least I don't really recall many of them. So I was like, I mean, Echo would be one. Like Echo from Arcane, he'd be like a nice young male character, but there's not many of them. So I just want to see, like, let's have a young male character and let's give him like this cool, interesting design. That's really what I went for and what I was going for with this character, with this concept. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Now, shading is going to be a bit difficult for me because this isn't going to be a digital painting. That would just take too long. So I think what would be best is if I actually just go with a single cell shaded, like a single cell shaded design scheme. And then I can probably add lighting to certain smaller areas. Also, because I've primarily used, like, I want to say colors on the cooler spectrum, like I've stayed on this side of the color wheel. For the shading, I may actually go for like a something on the warmer side of the spectrum. That'd be pretty nice. That'd be pretty good. Because the split complementary is yellow is complementary to purple. So I'll probably use like I'll use I wonder how green shading is gonna go. Yeah, I'll shade with some green. It may actually help my design and make things pop a little bit because his skin color is already like he's already a dark skinned character. So let me use some green for his shading. And then I can use some red for his lighting. trying to be very soft with this when I shade it. Now, I will say long term, cell shading is easier than if you're shading for like a digital painting. Because when it comes to digital paintings, you actually have to do color fixing and color picking. So you'll have to run along the color wheel and sort of choose the proper and choose the best colors to use when you are working on and shading whatever it is you are doing. And that can, in fact, be a bit difficult because you have to keep in mind there's a lot of mental math that goes into art and character design. I mean, like, if I really wanted to, I could, in fact, do a digital painting. I'm just sort of trying to save on time, so that's why I'm going the route that I am. Which there's nothing wrong with sort of picking your battles as an animator and as someone who does character design because especially when you're just one person. If you're one person and you're trying to do like 100 things at a time, you gotta really pick. You just gotta pick what you're gonna do. That's really what it boils down to. Because I don't have a crew behind me, I don't have like two or three other people who can check shading for me or who can check lighting or who can edit my work. So I really have to go out myself and sort of just work on my own skills. You know what? Oddly enough, I like the teeth. I definitely like the teeth and the way I went with them. I think that's very. I think it's very interesting, and I definitely think when it comes to animation, I'm probably gonna go for like the sharpened canine and premolar. Like I think that's gonna be a really cool aesthetic to have. Just to really sell that like pseudo vampire. Like I was actually very surprised. Keep in mind, like I don't really go into the supernatural that much, but like I was doing a bit of research on New Orleans, like Creole society. Like there are separate people. They're not a separate people, but like the whole Creole ethnic group, and how there's like a lot of supernatural history with them. Like vampires are real in New Orleans. Like vampires are like a real thing. Like I wasn't really. And keep in mind, like I do wholeheartedly believe in the supernatural. Like even the Bible talks about supernatural entities. Like I believe in that stuff. I genuinely believe in it. Because as much as we know, there's even more we don't know. Which is why I love art and animation so much. Because, like, how do I put it? Like, witches and vampires and werewolves. Like, whenever there's like a fantasy story or a fantasy video game or franchise or show, it's like the witches and vampires get put on the forefront. But like, why can't we have a priest? Like, why can't we have this cool priest character who shoots rays of divine energy and who prays and like can heal people? Like, why can't we have that? Like, why can't that be a thing? It'd be super awesome. It'd be super cool. Because I was actually on Twitter and I saw this post a woman made about how people are trying to use witchcraft to get closer to God. And I'm just like, it's very funny to me. Okay, for starters, that is dangerous. Like, I'm not trying to condone anyone who is. I'm not trying to condone anyone who's trying to use witchcraft to. I don't condone that using witchcraft to get closer to God, but like prayer, fasting, and meditating on the word is our air quotes magic. Like that's how we grow closer to God and get stronger in ourselves and in our faith. Like that's our power is prayer and submission. But I will say that this character is inspired by Anansi the Spider. Like, I was just. Okay, so keep in mind, like, I don't really do much on Twitter except for, like, post and reply to stuff. Like, I just saw another X thread on, like, Hoyo and their whole thing with Natlan and representation. Like, you see, that's the one thing I never understand is how people can do that, like, shading under the eye. I never understood that. I never could get that right. Like, I can shade around the nose pretty easy, but when it comes to, like, that singular small area under the eye that people will shade, like, I could never get that right. Well, when in doubt, when you can't draw or animate something, you just make it your own. So I guess I can just put my own twist on it when I'm shading. Hmm. Like, look at this character. Okay, look at this character. Look at this design for just a second. Like, look at this showman. I really tried my best Now, I do want to go back with the shoes and probably add some more black. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do is add some more black to it. Because I feel like that's too... It's a bit too vibrant for my taste. Let me finish shading first, and then I'll go back and recolor the shoes. But like, look at him. Look at this little gentleman. Look at this little showman. Yeah, when I finally animate this character, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make coloring and drawing his hair more easier for myself, as well as other animators, when I finally bring people on for this project. Hmm. I've almost reached my hour mark, which is actually pretty good. I do like the color I went for the eyes. I was trying to go for something more paler, but in the end, this does actually look really good. It gives him this sort of supernatural look. Like he looks like I was going for a spider design. I mean, he is a spider. He's a spider beastkin, so. Ooh, I got some views. How is everyone? Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. Do you guys have any questions, or would you guys like some backstory on the character I'm drawing? Are you guys working on your own animations and you need some help? How's it going? This is just my sit and chill stream, so what I do is you guys can come and go as you please. We can work on some art together. You guys can ask me any questions you may have. If there's any backstory you'd like for a character or something I'm working on, then by all means, share it with me, and I will answer your question as best as I can. So for right now, what I'm doing is I'm working on a character design for this show. It's called The Seven Sages. It's essentially a science fantasy that blends technology and magic, and it follows seven men and women who are seeking justice for different wrongs that they faced. There's one woman, her inventions were stolen, so she's trying to take down this system that stole her ideas from her and essentially discredited her in the process. There's another man who is a military veteran and he was left impotent, so he can no longer have kids. There is Nancy. His parents were scientists and they were sort of overworked until they just had a mental breakdown. And so I already have two character design videos up where I go over number 7 and number 6 of the 7 stages. Nancy is number 5, and while he's number 5, so he is a person with rank. He is also the youngest member of the 7 stages. He's a 12-year-old character, which harkens back to the Bible. One of my big inspirations for this show is, in fact, the Bible, specifically the book of Enoch, as well as the book of Revelations. And for this character, he's definitely a bit of a Jeremiah character. So, for those of you who may or may not know, Jeremiah was a prophet of God, and his whole thing is that he was he was given the mission by God to warn the Israelites of their coming judgment, to get them to try and change their ways and warn them that God was about to punish them for their unrighteousness. And so it is believed that Jeremiah is actually the youngest prophet that God ever had, because Jeremiah was between the ages of, I believe, it was estimated somewhere between 17 and 20 that Jeremiah was called to prophesy. So that's really what I'm calling on for this character, is the fact that just because he's young, that doesn't mean that he can't seek justice or have revenge or have hard feelings in the ways that he's been dealt with. And so that's another very major thing, is this idea of adultification of black youth, especially, at least in Nancy's case, black men. So it's going to be that sort of balancing act with this character of, hey, you're justified, but society still sees you as a kid, even though spiritually your anger, your hatred, and your desire for justice is warranted. So it's definitely a fun character to have and make. And I definitely can't wait to explore him and sort of see just what I can do with him. I think I'm almost done shading. I just gotta finish this piece up. I may want to lighten the shading a bit more. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like this. Now I just need to do the lighting, and then I'll be done. Now let me just do that. And then since I used green, I think something with yellow would be best for this. Or maybe like a yellowish orange. I think Photoshop crashed on me. It finally crashed on me, guys. So let me just save this, and then I'm gonna have to close it out and open it back up again. Oh, it might have fixed it. Because I know that used to be a major problem. Well, not major problem, but it was a quite notable issue with Photoshop for a while where it would just like crash or stop working all of a sudden. Okay, now it really did crash. So I think that's a sign, hey, take a break from animating. I mean, take a break from digital art and probably try animating a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's close this out and then let's go over to Adobe Animate. And so now I believe it is this one. No, it's this one. Yep. Now I just need to let this load and then I can finish animating. Because really, I've already done the shading for this animation. All I really have to do now is I just have some smaller segments to animate. Like for the collisions, I plan on animating these smaller segments where like the magic sort of rebounds off of each other. And then I also need to do some coloring as well. Oh, hello. How's it going? Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. I'm just adding a few effects to this animation. Do you have any questions or you want to talk about anything? So I finished the animation. Now I just need to work on the spacing of it. It's good. I just need to work on my timing. I may need to lengthen some things or slow some things down because I will say that definitely for um this frame right here. Like I think that from here to here, that's actually really good. It's just when they go into their sort of Dragon Ball Z like energy collision, that's when it's a bit too fast. So I may in fact need to slow that down or at least space it out in certain areas so that I can really give the audience the chance to focus and concentrate on those collision areas. Like probably do an ease in and ease out where it slows down around the point of collision. Like I can still keep the ones, I just gotta space it out. So likely off stream, that's when I'll play with the timing of certain scenes because all the animation is done. I just really need to work with that timing. As well as do some cleanup. Like I have some extra frames to get rid of and to delete. So yeah, I think that's it. Now, after this stream, I do definitely have to go outside and do some yard work. There's some weeds around my grandmother's car. So I have to clean those up. Like that whole car needs a new alternator, and I just haven't had the time or chance to get the part as well as find someone to replace it, put it in. So that's gonna be its whole own thing. But anyway, I think that's what does it for this stream. I'm just gonna take a break and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed. This was a bit of a late stream. I started my stream a bit later because it was my birthday, so I just wanted to chill out for a bit. But now I gotta now I gotta go through the rest of my day. But I do hope you all enjoyed. Anyway, this has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. A few things I want to go through before I leave. First to 500. Not first to 500, road to 500. Once I reach 500 subscribers, I plan on hosting a special extra long live stream. More than likely, that's gonna be 5 hours long. So I'll have to find a nice project to do, And so for my 500 benchmark live stream, I also plan on redrawing, sort of updating the design of one of my first OCs. And for my road to 1,000, once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I plan on hosting a special Q&A, a Q&A live stream where you guys can ask me questions, have any comments or concerns about me. You guys can just leave them and I'll answer those. Anyway, I do hope you all enjoyed. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art, and I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.